Today, I'm going to talk about how to not be lonely in life, which is a really interesting topic, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that in a second. But in bigger cities like Toronto and New York City, those are close by to me. One of the biggest problems in those cities is that people feel very isolated and very lonely. If they don't have a regular community or friendship that they show up to, they can get very isolated and very lonely, and it's hard to make new friends. And so I'm going to share my unique formula on how to avoid loneliness. I think loneliness can happen in two ways. So have you ever heard of somebody say something like, I was in a room full of people, but I was incredibly lonely? That's actually one form of loneliness that people don't expect, they don't think is a thing, but it actually is. So loneliness can come from two different places. And one way, and the first way that I'm talking about, when you're in a room full of people, but you actually feel quite lonely, is when you are too selfless. You are putting others too far forward before you. You're not taking good care of yourself. You're showing up as that responsible person, but you're never taking time for yourself. So if you're a mom and you're very burned out and you're always showing up for your family, you're always cooking, you're always that person picking up the kids, you're always caregiving, and you're just constantly on and you never get a break, that is, even though you're around people, that is actually a form of loneliness. Another form that can take is when you're extremely popular, and the way you get popular is by serving everybody around you and helping them out. Some people who are very popular in school or in sororities, they are so busy at building their popularity and serving others that they never really get a chance to enjoy it. That's where they're like in the popular group, but they feel lonely in that group because they've just spent all their time and energy building their popularity, and they've never had anybody actually witness who they are authentically. Or it could happen also, in romantic relationships, women can end up doing so much for men that they fall in love with. And what's interesting is men don't actually really appreciate it. They kind of get annoyed by it when women take on too much and do too much for them. But I think it's a common pitfall that women fall into, is that we just do and do and do, and we nurture and nurture and nurture when we fall in love. And it actually gets kind of boring for the man. Funnily enough, that's what we like as women. I think we are more attracted to that kind of feeling of nurturing and security. And so we mistakenly assume that our male partners will appreciate it, but usually they don't. Unless they really tell you that they do, I wouldn't go there. It's not a good idea. And that is one form of loneliness, is when we give ourselves away. And that's why I think the self-love movement is really taken off for women. And there's so many self-love books and self-love groups and self-care. It's because we give and give and give. Regardless if you're in a relationship or you're single, there are many different ways we can overgive. And then we end up burned out. And that is one form of loneliness. When people are around us and we show up to them in service, but they don't actually see who we really are. And then the second form of loneliness is the more traditional kind, where I would say you are very isolated from other people. And interestingly enough, this is where the word selfish comes from, and I think it gets misused quite a lot. People don't really apply the label selfish properly, but I think what it does mean is when people are very isolated and they care so much about just themselves, and they haven't had that opportunity to give back to society, to their community, to their family, and they just stay on their own. Like, sometimes that can be like that really long-term bachelor who doesn't want to settle down and get married, but always wants the youngest woman or the most attractive woman locally who's available, And I'm not saying that stereotype is always what's going on when a gentleman is looking for a date or something. Like, there's a whole gamut of reasons why men could be looking for dates at different ages, but sometimes men will kind of follow into this rut where they're always in superficial relationships and then like breaking it off and then starting all over with another young lady, and it's just, that's one form of selfishness. But women can get into this too in a different way, like gold digging and looking for the best husband and the most status that they can get, and they're trying to game the relationship system. Both are kind of the same. And there are other ways that we kind of fall into selfish habits where basically we are just, maybe we're like sitting on our parents' couch and not getting a job, or maybe we have gotten a job and we've just never moved out of our parents' house, even when we're in our late 30s to early 40s, we've just never launched. And there are a lot of people in Canada like that because housing is very expensive here. And sometimes that's okay. Like sometimes, according to the family unit, if they're very happy with that, like some Asian cultures and Muslim cultures believe in that, and that's perfectly fine if the family unit is happy with that and there's multiple generations of married adults in the house. That's how they prefer it. But I know in the Western culture, the parents usually don't prefer it. They want their kids to go off on their own, and then when they don't do it, they get kind of disappointed and annoyed, you know, because they don't have their privacy. And it is a complicated matter because it can be quite expensive to go off on your own, but it can also be really selfish to force your parents to always foot the bill for you and let you live at home, you know, and that's another form of selfishness. And then there's also selfishness in the sense that you're just very much caring about your own advancement. You're just always trying to earn more money. You're always trying to get ahead. And some workplaces really encourage that too, where you have to be that competitive and you have to work super long hours in order to make it. But it's not good when workplaces encourage that. Like, workplaces should give you space to care about family and to care about other people in your life, other than working on your own personal advancement all the time, you know? And that's another form of loneliness and selfishness. So we get into loneliness when we're too far down the selfish spectrum, or we're too far down the selfless spectrum, or we could have a little bit of both going on. You might be like, how do you have both? Well, maybe you're very focused on advancing at work, and then that little time you have off, you're always on call to your family, you know? And yeah, so you can have it both ways. And the key to managing both is to set boundaries in both areas that are healthy. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. And don't forget to give me a heart or a thumbs up if you really enjoyed it, or leave any comments about why you think people are lonely these days and how to fix that loneliness. This is just my perspective, but I think it's a useful one, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.